Hey YouTube. So it's Friday afternoon, and I'm gonna start this vlog here. Now I did take one switch off, you can see it over there. I just wanted to see what the wood was gonna look like. If you look real close there, what I thought was a shake is just not in there that far, so the wood should be good. We'll have to see as we go. You know, I just changed the blade on the machine because I was hearing this bumping sound, like a and what I found out was the other day when I backed out of a cut, the blade came off the wheels, which is why I don't like backing up on top of the log to clean the sawdust off. But anyway, when the blade came off the wheels, it put a kink in the blade. The ironic thing is that even though there was a kink in the blade, this cut is as flat as can be. When I put this straight edge on here, seriously, I can't believe how straight this is. It's just beautiful. Even in this direction, you know, you can't beat it. Yet, the blade had a major kink in it. You could actually see the kink when it was going around, and it seemed to widen the saw curve. I should have stopped and measured it, but I didn't. But anyway, we're going to see what we can do with this log here, this cant. Looks like I got 10 inches there. I'm going to leave it at that and see how I can square this thing up. unsharpened blade. You can tell because of my ink marks on there. But the cut's very nice. Now I'm trying to save this log. This thing is actually worse than that other one that we had up here. I got a 10-inch cant so far, potentially. I need to flatten this out a little bit. I'm going to measure off my concrete. The top of this is 39 inches. Wow, 39 inches to there. You're looking at a 4-inch, it's 4 inches difference in the middle there. Whew, that's quite a bit. What I want to do is just get down to this mark here, 33 inches. Because this end is swinging up so bad here, I want to put that end down a little bit. You can see it's barely hanging on to the dog here. Well, I guess it's hanging on, but I'd like it to hang on a little better. And since I have more wood at this end, I think what I'm going to do is just raise this up here about an inch or 2 inches. And see what that's going to give me at this end here. So if I go in here and take this bark off, I'm looking at about 33 inches. Wow, 33 inches is all the way down in here. It's not going to give me much of a cant. I think I may have to work with the bark on a little bit. I certainly don't want to be down there that far. Let me take this back out of here. Okay, 35 inches now. 35 inches there. The only thing is I think I'm going to miss the whole log in the middle here. No, not by a whole lot. I'm going to cut that at 35 inches. I'm looking to see that this is even with the backstop there of the other dog. And I'm going to cut this at 35 inches off of the bunk. It's going to give me some bark or wane on both sides here, but I'm willing to sacrifice that until I get down. I may have to turn this a couple of times to get to a nice square cant, but I want to see what happens with it. It's not 35 inches off the bunk like I just said, it's 35 inches off my concrete. So 35 minus 22. Riding the blade over the bark like that is not good for the blade. So I'm trying to get the biggest cant out of this that I can. And you can see it's going to be far from what it ought to be. For a 15-inch log, we should get a 10-inch cant out of this, 10.5 inch. I don't think that's going to happen. Be lucky to get an 8-inch cant out of that. Look at this wood close. If you look at this wood close here, it's really worth going through the aggravation and the slowness. We got about a 3/4 inch or less black knot there. There's two more that are, this one is about 1 inch, that's 3/4, and then we have a couple red knots at this end. So I mean, to run from all the way down at that knot down there, all the way up to here without any real knots in it, it's worth going after. Now you can see that, you know, in reality when I get this cut, this board's probably going to be a 1x4 or something. But I want to go slow at this just to see what I can get out of it. The width, like I say, is, I think I said 8 inches, 10 inches. So we have a 10-inch width there. And if you see this 8 inches, that's why I say I'll be lucky to get an 8 inches, more like 6. A 6-inch can't. It'd be nice if it was 6x10. I'd like it a whole lot if it was 8x10. I could get siding out of this then. So I'm going to roll it with the top down on the bunk again and see what I can do with that back side there. Not a whole lot I can do, but I think I'll go after the 8-inch cant that way and see what happens. I'll just park you here so you can watch this. So I'm hoping to get an 8-inch by 10-inch cant. I doubt it, but see. Putting the back stops down because we can lean against these little stops here that Woodmizer has put into the back pump. Because I have a square cut on the bottom on the opposite side, I'm going to use this. I know I explained this before, but for any newcomers, this goes over the log dog. There's a notch in here that flattens underneath the cut cant, and this point here holds it in place. It's pretty neat. You can use these with over top of them all the time because of the point here, but I don't use that. Sometimes it falls off, and that's a little bit of a go for an 80. Who left this on here? It's a shame to lose all this wood here. These small pieces, I mean, I'm not interested in small pieces because I already don't have any room. If I start saving every small piece that comes off the mill, I'll be overwhelmed. But really, these small pieces can be cut into nice boards here yet. Well, from your point of view, it doesn't look too bad. It's not what it could be up here, though. I don't have 8 inches up there, that's for sure. Where's my tape? Down here I've got a 10 by 8 inch can. I run out with this wane up in here, and on the bottom there's wane on this side as well. So I could probably go to an 8 inch cant in the opposite direction. In other words, flip this one turn and go to an 8 inch cant there. Was hoping to get out of that bad spot there. You look there, there's some holes right there in this. Not sure just how bad that is, but we're going to find out. Okay, so we got an 8 by 10 there. Now you're looking at the 10 inch side. I'll tell you one thing, the log's it's nice and straight. It's touching all the bunk rails and it's not really moving. I'll move this up a little bit. Yeah. The bottom of this log on both sides of this cant is not bad. Okay, the bottom of it on both sides. So this top here, I have a little wane here and I've got wane all along here. I'll show you what it looks like, because if I cut a 2 inch piece off of this, I'm pretty sure I can get a 2 by 4, maybe a 2 by 6 out of it. Yeah, you see that wane there? Once I get down to the bottom of that, I'm going to have 6 inches or so left. I should be able to get quite a few pieces of siding out of this if I cut 2 inches out of here. I think I'll cut a 2 inch board out of this, and I got to check this. I think I'll get a 2 by 6 out of that. Just trying to get as many boards as I can out of these pine logs. Oh yeah, 6 inches will give me the slightest amount of wane on there, but for construction lumber, that's not an issue. Okay, so I'm going to go down there 2 inches, make a 2 by 6 out of that piece, and then I'm going to see what I have left for siding. So I'm going to kiss that log, or that can, right there, pull off, make the lever to where I just touch the can and go down to the floor. That'll give me a nice 2 inch board, exactly 2 inches thick. Or I gotta go one more, right there, 2 inch board. But I'm still going 2/16 versus an 1/8 of an inch. tell you one thing, the pine lumber, because it's soft and all, even though there's some knots in it, I mean, if you look at this, there is no knots from here all the way to here. I would consider this, if I could get it without the weighing, you're looking at something that's premium grade, if not more than that. So anyway, that'll make a nice 2x6, an 8-foot 2x6. I'll just leave that lay on there until I get a chance to cut it. Very small amount of wane left on here. It's about 10 inches long. I'll show that to you, which shouldn't be a big deal. Not very much. And the rest of the log looks good, but look at the grade of the lumber though. I mean, there's a tiny pin knot there, and then there's 2 red knots at this end. Really nice. 2 little pin knots there. Nice wood though. Worth the effort. So now let me just check what I have here, because I forget when I'm talking. 8 inches by 8 inches, a little less than 8, which is alright. So I can actually cut siding out of this. No sense in going any further. I'll just use this for siding. I'll cut siding out of it. I'll move this 2x6 out of here so I can get my siding jigs on there. It's late in the day, guys. I think it's around 6:30. I'll put a jig here and one all the way up here, since that seems to be holding its own there. As far as straightness goes, okay, so the levers are down. That means it's a flat cut. Since the board's already flat, I need the levers to come up. So I'm going to pull each lever up, and that'll give me a bevel cut. Now, here's the thing. Well, I got 2 pieces here that are... If I turn this log around, that's a lot of aggravation, but you know what? Just to show you what you can do if you got the energy, if I turn this log end for end, I'm going to have the narrow bevel on that side. Right now the big bevel, the heavier part of the siding that shows, is going to have a wane on it. So let's not be lazy here. Let's see if we can turn this thing around. Now I turned it around only because I want the wane from the first cut on the thin side of the bevel siding. Got to bring the The bevel's up, pointing up. Okay. That's a nice piece of siding there, and it's got the wane on the top. Now the problem with this next cut is that the wane is going to be on the wide side again. Now I know you're going to think I'm crazy. There's probably going to be a lot of guys out there shaking their heads. However, I'm looking for the best siding that I can get here. Now, every piece of siding that I cut is a half of a 1x roughly. So if I can salvage anything for siding, and if you look at it from my point of view, an 8-foot piece of bevel siding, white pine, is $26. One piece. You don't believe me? Go on Lowe's website. So to me, I think it's worth, well, you know what, I already have a bevel there though. I'd like to say I'll turn that around. Now I could flip it and turn it, but I guess I'm not going to be able to get that. Okay, oh well. Since I already have the bevel there, no matter what I do, that's going to be a thick end. Alright, so I can't do it. I just have to go with what I got there. I'm sure I can use it somewhere. Maybe if I flip it around, the bevel won't show. I don't know. Maybe if I make that be the back side, that won't show on the siding. Have to check it out. Guys, just so you know, I would already have this log cut if I wasn't making a video, and I'd be done. I'm walking through this so that anybody who's doing it can think, or at least understand what I'm thinking. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. Otherwise, I've already been done cutting. Saying there, if you turn this siding this way, you don't see that, so that came out good. Came out good in spite of it. doing here, so you know, with the siding, when I kiss the high side, which I am there, I go down 13/16, and that gives me just about 3/4 of an inch, so that's what I'm at. From the dog side. I think I'll put you over on that side, and then you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. There you go. have here so you'll know why I'm doing what I'm doing. This board on this side is about 1.5 inches of wood there. On this side here I have 2 inches, and you can see how close I am to my stops. Excuse me. So anyway, because this is a flat cut, because my stops are down now, I can lay this on the bunk and still get one piece of siding out of there, and then have a I don't know, about 1.5 inches board left that I can probably get a 3/4 inch board out of. Oh, you see what that pocket was? With some ants sleeping in there. On this one end. Okay, so I'm going to take the jigs off, measure down from the high side 13/16, make a cut, and then I'll have a 3/4 inch board left with a little scrap piece. Yeah, get one more piece of siding out of there and a 3/4 inch board. See how this little piece works here? It's all the way down, it's against, and I could get a 1 inch board out of this yet. In fact, I'm going to have to go for 1 inch probably. Yeah, I can't go to 3/4 because it's too thin. So anyway, let me take a piece of siding out of here and then see what I got left over. Worked out perfect. So what I have here now is I have 10 pieces of 8-inch bevel siding, and I have a 1 by 8 foot long. Although there's some ants in here that apparently don't like winter. You can see them coming out of there. Wow, there's quite a few in that little spot. Other than that, the board is good. I want to cut that 2 by 6 out of that other piece yet. unfortunately, getting ants in pine is a pretty common thing. Well, I might have got them all out. Either way, I want to put that 2x up here and cut it down. Let's see here. And I got Wayne on both sides, so an 8-foot 2x6 is out of the question. So at the best, I might get a 2x4 out of this thing. Might. So I had a comment once where some very rude person said, "Why don't you blow your nose?" If you've never worked outside in the cold, you don't understand. You can't stop your nose from running when you're cold. Okay, some guys don't have that problem. I happen to have it. Always have, always will. I'm sorry if you can't stand the sniffling, but that's the way life is. Okay, so we're going to go down here. At this end up here where I'm at, down to the Wayne, I have exactly 4 inches. So I'm going to have an 8-foot 2x4 here with just a little bit of Wayne on one side, because I've got to get rid of the Wayne that's on here. And this is part of that crooked log that I can't do anything with it. Something like this, I'm going to get a 2x4 out of this, no matter what. But here's what I want to say to you. A board like this, you would be better off cutting stickers out of this than trying to take a 2x4 out of it if you're looking for really nice wood, because the stickers would work out of this pretty nicely. I'll probably get, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 of them. But I want a 2x4, so I'm just going to flip this over and come up 4 inches, and I'll be able to use this as a 2x4 somewhere, because let's face it, in a stud wall, and this is what I'm looking at here, in a stud wall sometimes you do have wood that looks like this and nobody ever sees it. But I think what I'm going to be doing with this, it's going to be making part of my deck railing, so if nothing else, I may end up cutting spindles out of it. I don't know for sure, but I want a 2x. So I'm just going to use the dial, or not the dial, but the gauge that comes from Woodmizer. I'm going to go down the 4, but then I'm going to come back up an 1/8 of an inch, just to make sure I got a full 4 inches. Because when you come back up, you should be able to counter that 1/8 of an inch working your way back up. However, the problem with it is that I'm off about a quarter, or not a quarter, a 16th. So in other words, if I go to the 4-inch mark up there and I cut, I'm like 3 and 15/16, and I want a full 4. Because if I work with 4-inch studs later on, it'll be a whole lot easier to not have to play around with different width boards. I probably should have cut some 1x stickers out of that rather than dive into the 2x4. That's a nice 2x4 there, you can see from that side. This side has some weight on it, not going to worry about it. I probably got more wood here than you get on any 2x4. Now I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to turn it 180 degrees, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look on this end here, and the thing is it's the last 1-inch board, so I'll be cutting up from the bottom. So when I come up 1 inch, whatever's left, whatever you see me cut off, that's junk. So if you put the widest part down, you'll get more wood in the sticker than you would get if you left the wide part up. In this particular case. Here, I mean, really, if you wanted to keep something like this, cut, screen door jamb holding, like the door stop, cut out of this. Like I say, I can't afford, my space is at a premium. My space is at a premium, so I don't have a lot of room to be playing games with little pieces. But you can do it. If you don't have access to the wood that I have access to, and I'm fortunate to have that, you could cut those little pieces up and save them for all kinds of stuff. I just don't have any storage for that. I tried saving some small stuff in the beginning, you know, because I was so excited to be getting the stuff out of this bandsaw mill that it just got to the point where it was too much stuff, too much to hang on to. Alright, well, that's the end of that one. I'm going to clean up here before it gets dark. I just want to shovel this off. And I'll show you something that I found out about cleaning these blades. Rather than leaving stuff run, on the boards, which pine doesn't matter because I'm using it for framing and I'll paint it if I do color it. I don't want any oil on oak at all, not even one drop, because if you get oil on oak, you can't always plane it out, and you can't stain it because it'll show up as a lighter spot in the wood. Let me just show you how clean that made the blade using that WD-40 for a couple seconds. Check it out. That blade is clean, rather than having oil running out of there all over the place. So, and it's like that all the way around, so I'm happy with that. So all together, guys, excuse me, I got some kind of hiccups going on. 10 pieces of siding, 8 foot, 2x4 8 foot, 2 stickers, and I threw this board over here because there was some ants in this bottom here, but overnight they'll probably die or whatever because it's supposed to go down in the 20s. But this is another 1x8, and I'd say it's 7 foot long. I can use that. If I rip it, I can use it for other things, but I will use this as long as there's no ants in it. I'll spray something in there later if I have to before I sticker that. A lot more waste on something like this because of that wide end you got there here compared to down there, which is nothing. But there's not a lot you can do with that. So I think that for what we started out with there, that it was 2.5 to 4 inches out of round. If you think about it, 2.5 on one side, 2.5 on the other, you're looking at roughly 5 inches. I had said 4 inches at one point. But to get this nice straight wood out of here, I mean, I can't kick. This is some nice looking bevel siding here. And pieces that are 8 foot long like this, if you can use a full 8 footer, wonderful. If not, those are the things I'll be cutting to go, you know, next to doors and windows or whatever. Have a good one, guys.